Alright, so I'm going to come at you guys today with another 2019 Detroit Lions mock draft. This is going to be version 2.0. I just released 1.0 last weekend. I had some free time today, and after the Antonio Brown trade this morning that I got news of, I decided, well, after work I'm going to go home and I'm going to do another video for you guys. So, on with the mock draft. The big moment, what everybody's been waiting for. I know I have. This one I put a little bit more effort into. I did a little bit more research, watched a few more hours of film today as well. So I think this one's pretty close to what they should do as of right now. So let's get to it. Round 1, pick 8, not much changed here. I have the Detroit Lions still selecting Montez Sweat, the edge rusher out of Mississippi State. The kid is just a freak athlete. 6'6", 241 pounds. Runs 4.4140. Ridiculous speed from an edge rusher of his size and caliber. I think it's going to be an excellent pickup here if he's still on the board. I've heard a lot of things about him being possibly taken by Oakland at 4. So we'll see what happens there. But if he's on the board, Detroit needs to pick him up. Moving on to round 2, where we carry the 43rd selection in this year's draft. This changed up a little bit, guys, so just bear with me. But I have the Lions actually addressing a need on the offensive side of the ball in the second round, and that is tight end. We really don't have a legitimate tight end and haven't had one in some time. Irv Smith Jr., tight end out of Alabama, is going to be our selection here. 6'2", 242, came into the draft as the top-rated tight end. Didn't do so well at the Combine, and Noah Fant and TJ Hawkinson kind of excelled past him here. But Irv Smith is a great blocker as well. He is on the shorter side at 6'2". Detroit does tend to like the tight ends a little bit taller, but I think his talent is unquestionable. He's going to be a good safety net for Matthew Stafford in the rebuilding of our offensive line. So moving on to round 3, where, speaking of Matthew Stafford, this comes into play here. Matthew Stafford hasn't been challenged for the starting role ever in his career. He's always been the obvious number 1. Unless he's been hurt, which he was the first few seasons of his career, but he's been a pretty reliable quarterback. He's one of the toughest guys in the league, no questions about it. But sometimes he makes questionable decision making, and I think that tends to be because he knows it's his job and no one's going to take it. Our backup as of right now is just Connor Cook. Connor Cook, he's a great quarterback, but he's not NFL caliber starting quarterback. He is a backup. I think he's only going to be a third string in the NFL. Mind you, I am a big Michigan State fan, and for me to say that, it hurts. He had great potential coming out of Michigan State, but he's getting older, and I think he's just going to be a third string. So anyway, moving on to the pick. At pick 88, I have Detroit drafting Tyree Jackson, the quarterback out of Buffalo. I had us taking him in the 4th round, I believe, in my last mock draft. So, Tyree Jackson, second fastest 40 at the Combine for a quarterback, 6'7", 245. And I think he's going to challenge Matthew Stafford as well as learn from Matthew Stafford. Matthew Stafford's been in the league for going on, I think, his 11th season, if not his 10th or 11th season. So he's an older quarterback. And nowadays we see these older quarterbacks getting pushed by these younger quarterbacks, and it kind of helps them develop and keeps them kind of at their peak. And I think Tyree Jackson's just that. He's an excellent quarterback, and I think he will be a franchise quarterback eventually, kind of like Aaron Rodgers and Brett Favre in Green Bay. So, I am comparing Tyree Jackson to Aaron Rodgers and Matthew Stafford to Brett Favre. Similar concept. Brett Favre's a gunslinger. Matt Stafford's a gunslinger. Bring in the young kid. He's a little mobile, stay in the pocket, deliver a bullet. Kind of stealing some Packers thunder there, but... And no, they're not. I'm not saying that's who they are, but I just thought I'd show a little bit of comparison. Moving on to round 4, pick 111. I can't believe this kid is still available. He's been moving up and down on a lot of boards, but the board I use and some other sources that I use have him available, so I had us picking him. And one of the biggest needs as of today, because the Lions released Nevin Lawson, finally, we need another quarter to pair next to... Sorry about that, guys, but to pair up with Darius Slay. And Lonnie Johnson, the corner out of Kentucky, is still here. He is great length at 6'3", 218 pounds, great hip movement, fluid, can play the ball pretty much anywhere, and has great recovery speed. He's a very lengthy guy, so he has very long arms, which is great, especially when he's paired up against those big number 2 receivers. And I think he can learn a lot from Darius Slay and Matt Patricia. So, good coaching moment there. I think he's going to be a good pickup. I think he's going to be a little bit better than Tease Tabor out of Florida that we wasted a second round draft pick on. But that's besides the point. Moving on to round 5, where I have the Detroit Lions addressing another defensive need, and that is the linebacker. We have very little depth there. Jared Davis is by far our number 1 linebacker, but that could be changing here shortly, because there is news that Detroit is favorited to get Anthony Barr in free agency. And the reason I believe for that is because Minnesota didn't re-sign him to a major contract, and the division is, well, NFC North, we play the Vikings twice a year. And I think he just wants to destroy his old former team. But anyway, that is my opinion, and we will see what happens. But here we have the Lions drafting Drew Tranquill, the linebacker at Notre Dame. He was a captain there, great intelligence, and I think he can learn a lot from Matt Patricia and be schemed by one of the greatest defensive artists there ever have been in the NFL, named Matt Patricia. He's 6'2", 234. He has decent speed. He's not the best athlete, but he's a solid tackler. I will say that. He will get a tackle. He doesn't let ball carriers normally get into the secondary, so therefore he fights off blocks and gets the tackle. Moving on to round 6. This is a little treat for you. So, there's been news and leaks and rumors that the Lions will be releasing Theo Riddick. He's still on the active roster when I looked on the website today, but I'm not sure if he's a free agent or what, because I've heard he was a free agent and I've seen that he was on the roster, so I don't know what's going on with that. But anyway, nonetheless, the Detroit Lions need another running back to pair with Kerryon Johnson. The league is starting to go more to the two running back sets, and with a change of pace guy and a more of a power physical runner, which Kerryon Johnson is that. And he can catch. He's kind of a complete back, but the 2-tier running back set is pretty much standard in the NFL anymore. So, who's available here? LJ Scott. I had us taking him in my last mock. But I decided to change up a little bit. I'm going Bryce Love, running back at Stanford. Had an excellent 2017-2018 season. Decided to stay in school instead to get his degree, and that hurt his draft stock. He was hurt for a little bit of the season this year. Came back, played okay. Wasn't nothing great. He's a good change of pace back. I think he'd be a great selection and value here in the 6th round at pick 184. Moving on to round 6, pick 204. There's been rumors of the Detroit Lions possibly drafting a wide receiver at the top of the 1st round. Only if a certain wide receiver is there, which I do not believe that wide receiver will be there. But if DK Metcalf's there, Detroit needs to draft him. He's just a freakish athlete. Reminds me of Calvin Johnson. Yeah, I said it. He could be the next Megatron. But nonetheless, Detroit in the 6th round addresses wide receiver here and gets little Jordan Humphrey, the wide receiver out of Texas. 6'4", 225, great speed. Not the fastest wide receiver. I think he ran about a 4.5, if I remember correctly, 4.6. So he's not the fastest, but he's not the slowest. He can high point the ball, kind of like Kenny Galladay. Kind of reminds me of Kenny Galladay in a way, but Kenny Galladay was a 3rd round selection. He will actually be a 6th. So I think he'll be a great pair with Matthew Stafford and his gunslinging ability and his relationship with tall receivers. Moving on to round 7, pick 224. We have another 2 picks in this round. I have Detroit drafting Mark Fields, the corner at Clemson. With Nevin Lawson being gone, we need to address the depth at corner. I think Mark Fields can come in nickel situations as well as play the slot corner position and give us some depth at the corner position in general. So our final pick in the 7th round at 229, I have us drafting Josiah Coatney, the defensive lineman out of Ole Miss, 6'4", 300 pounds. He's a big guy who can eat up a lot of offensive linemen. He can also get a little bit of pressure on the inside. We do have Damon Harrison as well as A'Shawn Robinson, but I think A'Shawn can be pushed to the outside and be moved around a little bit more than what he has been in the past. So this is going to be 2.0. Like, subscribe to my channel. Let me know what you guys think. Have any questions, comments, just let me know. Be happy to help you out. Alright.